surface. I wanna take you far away.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com.
Nothing that we've ever known.
Okay, so I want to start this part of the video. This is going to be part 3 of when you must leave the narcissist, or you must leave the narcissist. Now again, it doesn't have to be a narcissist. It could be someone who just doesn't get it, or doesn't... I don't even know if I want to say doesn't care enough. That is definitely a sign, but some people just don't get it, and they can't get it until they've suffered tremendously. And by leaving them, for a lot of people, sometimes it's like Dr. Tad James says, sometimes they have to, people have to leave them in order for them to go, wow, I must be doing something wrong. But sometimes it's not just one person. It might be the next one, the next one, the next one. And finally, they're like, it might hurt them enough, or maybe on some logical level, okay, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? All right, I got one for you. So I've been a dating relationship coach for about 30 years now. So I got a guy, this is one of many examples that there's actually almost the majority of men, especially, okay. So here's what I noticed. When men had a high school girlfriend, maybe 1 or 2 girlfriends in college, and then, maybe 1 or 2 after that, as they went into their career, and eventually they got married. So here's what I noticed. The average divorced man that came in was generally between 45 and about 52, because when men's testosterone lowers, they begin slowly to open up to the right brain. So at that age in their life, the testosterone has gone down about 3 or 4 times, let's say. So they're at a level where they're a little bit more aware. The other factor is they've been divorced and or left 2 or more times. So the average man was 40 plus into about mid 50s or early 50s, and they had been divorced 2 times, or they were in a long-term serious living relationship where the person had left them. So they had 2 really genuine heartbreaks where these were people they loved. As one guy said, I did everything in my power to love her. I don't know what else to do. I've been to all the seminars, the Tony Robbins seminars. I went to Dr. John Gray's seminar, and on and on. So pain is a motivating factor. So what I'm trying to say is that when they were heartbroken enough with someone they absolutely were in love with, they finally opened up, and now they're willing to learn, okay, what's going on? And then they begin their search. And sometimes it's unconscious. Part of it might be conscious. They look for books, they go to seminars, but then there's kind of this unconscious thing going in the background where they're just kind of tuning in to different things than they were before, and they begin the learning process. So all I'm saying is, for a lot of people, leaving them might be the absolute best thing for them to finally learn and grow and develop, and finally not only become a happier person themselves, but to be able to create an environment where other people can begin to be happy with them too. And I know for myself and you guys, this abandonment stuff, trauma they call it, it wasn't necessarily what we were doing wrong to other people. It was more like, what were we doing wrong to ourselves? We weren't protecting our emotions. We didn't have boundaries. We weren't walking away from people who flat out told us, oh, I'm a narcissist. Oh, I'm going to end up hurting you. They'll just admit it. And we're like, oh, no, you won't. And we would just bullshit ourselves. Those are the lessons that we had to learn. And we had to suffer tremendously for many, many decades to finally just open our eyes and go, man, all this person does is hurt me. All they do is bring me down. Everything is negative. And you finally walk away because you've had it. And that's when you start to learn what you're supposed to learn. I had the most wonderful dream last night, and I mean, it was, man, I don't know if I should say it was the best dream I've ever had, but it's up there, probably top 10. In this moment, it's the best dream I've ever had. The feeling that I had in this dream was amazing. By the way, have you guys been dreaming very, very vivid dreams? I actually went through a stage where I wasn't even having dreams. I wasn't aware of them, but now I'm in October 12th right now. With the last 3 to 5, maybe even 7 days, I've had really vivid dreams, and these are long dreams too. So I had a dream that suddenly I was at a Tony Robbins seminar with this really special person in my life. It was a young lady who I very much loved with all my heart. I very much cared about her. So the seminar was over and everybody was kind of in the hallways, and not only hallways, but it was like there was like you know, kind of like you're walking down the hallway on the right side, there's this open space, there's couches and tables and food, and in the middle of the walkway there's food and tables, and on the left there's rooms. So just a very comfortable, it was almost kind of like a casual, very comfortable kind of a classy bar situation, but it really wasn't a bar. It was a nice hotel area, and it was just really nice. Now this is genuinely a good dream. So the person that was with me was this person that used to be in my life a long time ago. We weren't in a relationship, we weren't dating, nothing like that at all. I don't want to really give it away on here just for privacy purposes for her. Well, we were content. It was man, we were so happy. But it was a very relaxed and calm happiness. It was love. It was this feeling. And how to explain this? She was very content for the first time in her life. It was just a happy contentment. I don't know how to explain it. Just happy, but not jumping up and down. It was just calm, relaxed. And there was another thing that I noticed that was really, really strong. There was this really solid feeling connecting us. It was inside us. It was inside her. I can even almost visually, it's like a dark kind of black almost, but not in a bad way. It was just grounded, solid, content. It was a feeling of being connected in a really solid way, like a solid foundation. Not just for me, but for her also. Like it wasn't just me inside me. She had the same energy. And I just remember we were on the same page, going in the same direction. There was no conflict. There was just this fluid, grounded, solid energy. It was also peace and flow. It was like effortless love. I remember a couple people tried to talk to us, and we were just in our own joy, our own contentment, and we just would say something quick and just keep walking and just kind of like be with each other. I don't know if we were talking. I think in a way we were. Now here's something interesting about this person and I. We could talk without talking. Now somebody in a group, it was an older lady, she had pointed it out. We were in a group of, I don't know, about 8 or 9 people. And the conversation was going on. I remember I looked at her and she looked at me. She nodded and I nodded back. And we had done this a couple times. And I wasn't really conscious until this lady interrupted. She goes, "Oh, you guys talk without talking." And I go, "What?" I go, "No, we don't." She goes, "No, you've been doing it the whole time that we've been in the circle and everyone's been talking to each other." I'm like, "No." And she goes, "Yeah, we do." She goes, "We do it all the time." And I looked at her, like, "Oh, we have." And because they pointed it out so clearly, I remembered the conversation in the back of my head. If they would have pointed out, I would have never remembered that. But because they pointed so fast, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, we were talking about where we wanted to go to dinner." And we had agreed on P.F. Chang's. Without any words at all. In fact, she wasn't even next to me. She was like 2 people over. So it was like that in this dream. Like we were just kind of like, we weren't even looking at each other. We were just kind of holding each other, walking forward, having this conversation. So I learned a couple things from this dream. And this dream, very, very much, there's a possibility it might be a prophecy. Not a prophecy, but a vision. Actually, technically, it might be a prophecy because it's not a biblical prophecy, but a prophecy of this situation.
Ever
So I think the important part of the dream, before I get to what I realized, was we were very close, but not close, like physically, not like that at all. We very much cared about each other, and it was someone I looked out for very, very much. The problem is this person was kind of scattered, ping-ponging all over the place. Not always, not all the time. I always helped her ground herself. There's some very techniques that I would help her to ground, like I put one hand on the back of the head, one on her forehead, and then I would ground my energy, and then it would ground her energy. So the first realization or learning that I had was that dark kind of energy, that foundational solidity. It was very solid, very grounded. It was just like the energy between us, and even individually, was just like boom, like solid. It was very grounded. It was content. It was calm. And I realized that's what I'm looking for in a relationship. That's what I need in a relationship. In the past, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know, other than I just wanted someone to love me. I didn't really know what it was I was looking for, but narcissist abuse can really put you through it. And now I'm like, okay, I understand what I want and what I need in a relationship. And it was also just that general sense of contentment and peace, and like it's like we're going down the same path. We're together. We're looking in the same direction. We're just going together down the same path. There's no resistance. We're just moving in the same direction together. You know, you hear a lot of people just do super fluff talk, like, oh, well, you just gotta like have a, like one of the things, you gotta have a common goal. Another one is, oh, you both have to have your eyes on God. But what does that mean? Like what does that mean? So what I'm talking about right now, at least for me, I'm really clear on what this means to me. Like, we're going down, I have my business. This is where we're going. We both like to travel. Because the whole idea of the business is to do seminar trainings everywhere. Like, go to San Diego, go to Hawaii, go to these beautiful beaches around the world. Because this is what I like. Go to beautiful cities. And so that's always been the vision. And she's going right down the same path. Like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is really cool. Okay, so there's more to that, but that's not the gist of it. But so my realization, like, oh, this is what I want and need in a relationship. So I'm very clear on it, and that solid foundation, foundational energy is really key. Meaning being emotionally grounded. You know what? I'm not going to try to describe that anymore. That's not quite, it's just literally like a foundation to a house. It is solid. So because of the circumstances, there was never any, like, I cared about this person. I was there for them, and I really, really cared. Like, this was probably the most important person in my life. Well, she had to go and learn her stuff in life. She had to go on her journey, go down the path that she was going, which really it wasn't good for her. And we had to separate because of it. And I learned something from this dream. I never thought of this possibility. No, that's not quite right. That's not the right way to say it. It was there, but it wasn't a possibility. That's the best way to explain it right now. It dawned on me, oh, she might have been in love with me the whole time. And because of the situation, I never let it cross my mind. It's like, yeah, I guess it crossed my mind. No, that's not the way this is working here. Because it was out of respect, what's another word for that? Just being proper. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is I'm just now having a realization, like, man, I wonder if that's why. Because towards the end, she would flip out and yell and scream. And it was just like, what in the fuck is going on here? So that was about, how long ago was that? That was about 14 years ago, 14, 15 years. So I don't know if that's an actual, like, this is what's going to happen when we come back together, or, and finally, like, actually just openly talk. Because I'm sure there's a lot of growth that had happened on their side also as well. Maybe, possibly, but I think more importantly, the learning for me is this is what I need and want in a relationship. This solid, foundational, emotionally grounded energy. This sense of flow, like versus arguing and fighting and bickering and all the bullshit. I think the openness in communication, like there's just this absolute openness in communication, not only just verbally, but even on an energetic level of communicating. And the other realization is, I think this person never had the ability to communicate how they felt about me, and they just never did. They might have done it very indirectly. I know they loved me as a person, and there was a camaraderie there. I don't know if that's the right word. But it just never really crossed my mind that, oh, this person loves me, like in love, like that never. And this could be just a dream, but I tell you what, the dream definitely told me was, hey, there might be people that you're with that are in love with you, and they don't have the ability or the courage or whatever to say, hey, we need to sit down and talk about this. So this literally all could be a dream. But it's definitely a dream that's teaching me some important, like extremely, like, wow, this is, if I could have understood this when I was 18 years old or 21 years old, it would have shifted everything. So, unbelievably happy, unbelievably content. Man, I wish I could explain the feeling. It was just a smooth contentment of love. It was amazing. It's like it's how you know when it's just right and when it's right. So here's the overarching lesson for this entire video. I'm using myself in this dream as this is symbolic for humans. So you know how narcissists will, when they first meet you, they study you before they even talk to you. They might even ask people questions about you. What's your favorite color? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? So they're trying to match and mirror you. They're trying to become like you. Now, why are they doing that? Because we all love ourselves. We love who we are. We love what we think. We love the food that we eat. And narcissists know if they can match the music that you like, if they can match the food that you like, if they can talk like you, say they have the same beliefs, and etc., they know that you're going to be like, wow, you're just like me. And essentially, you're going to be like, this is my best friend, and you're going to open wide open to them. That's why they do it. That's how they get us to like them, because we like ourselves. They become a mirror as much as possible of who you are. So you know the whole thing that opposites attract? That's a load of shit. That will leave you at Nightmare on Elm Street in any long-term relationship. You want to find someone who flows with you. You want to find someone who connects with you. You want to find someone who you can have conversations with, who understands you because they are like you. But once they get you to fall in love with them, they revert back to who they are, and they're nothing like you at all. And all of a sudden there's arguing, yelling, and fighting, and they're trying to change you to be like them. And that it's, even if it's not, okay, forget about narcissists, forget about that for a second. Haven't you ever been in a relationship, or maybe you knew people that were in a relationship where they were trying to get each other to change? Like, well, I don't like it when you do that. And you're like, I've been doing this since I was a kid. Like, this is my hobby, or this is what I do. Oh, well, that's horrible. That's bad. And they'll punish their partner to get them to stop doing something like racing motorcycles or working on engines or who knows what it is. See, here's the deal. The lesson is this. That's why I said if I could go all the way back, probably even before 18, when I was like 12, is you just notice, like, oh, me and this person don't have anything in common, or for whatever reason, we don't flow, we don't get along. Okay, I met this guy at the Golden Gate Bridge. There's a coffee guy. I'll upload the videos. It's really, really cool. They both had their own individual businesses. They were working out of their trucks, and the one guy said, I just got really sick and tired. So essentially, he moved away from everyone. He goes, I got sick and tired of having to feel like I have to change to get my friends to like me. He goes, I'm so sick and tired of it that I just can't do it anymore. There's a lot of people still on the level of, you must conform to my group, you must conform to the way I am, you must, and it's kind of like, well, how to explain this? Okay, so in the internal awareness course that I keep talking about, I teach you how to expand your awareness and to be in this open space versus laser beam lock on. See, when you lock on, it's like a chain from your forehead to their forehead. If they go left, then it jerks you left. But if you want to go right, you jerk them right. And so now there's this tug of war. If you let go of people and allow them to be in their own space and allow them to come into your space, not connecting to you, but freely come and go, freely in a flow kind of way, everyone's happy. Even in that dream, when I'm with this young lady at the Tony Robbins seminar, it wasn't like she had to come with me. It's like, no, it's like if you wanted to freely go, you're free to go. And that's what allows people to get along with each other, when you just allow someone to be in their own space. Now, here's the deal. If they have energy, say they're controlling or manipulative, or maybe they're not even that. Maybe there's just something about them, like you don't like their vibe. You don't have to be around them, and they don't have to be around you. So the way I've been dealing with people over the last 5+ years is like, I go and do my own thing. And if someone doesn't like it, I really don't care. I don't spend time with them. I just move on. So I'm having this conversation with these two guys, and we're just talking about life in general. And at any point in time, if they became controlling or said, no, don't you believe this, and started that bullshit, I would have just walked away. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm totally okay with you being Buddhist. I'm totally okay with you being Catholic. I'm totally okay with you being Christian. But the minute you start to say, hey, you need to change or control me, or you've got to, like, stop doing that, like, it's like, no, I'm done. So it's not like abrupt like that. I just say, hey, I think it's time for me to go. Hey, you guys have a nice day. And I just go in a very kind, polite manner. It's essentially, I flow from one state to another. It's like, well, this is enjoyable. It's kind of shifting. Now it's time for me to go. It's not a big deal. Nobody gets mad. Nobody gets hurt. Here's the interesting thing. These two guys had the same way of looking at life. Just allowing people to be themselves, allowing people to be in their own space. So if you're in a relationship with someone like you really can't stand to be around, you shouldn't be with them. And even worse, do not try to change them. Let them be. Let them be in their own space. Let them make their own mistakes. Let them grow at the rate they need to grow. If it's not, okay, here it is. If you're not on the same path, going down together in an enjoyable manner, you're not supposed to be together. Making each other miserable was not the purpose on the planet. You came here to learn how to come out of density. Now, controlling, getting people to change, that's dense, low vibrational energy. It's literally like that helium balloon thing I keep saying. Just let it go and the balloon floats away and the energy expands out all by itself. You don't have to do anything. You just literally go with the flow. I believe the shift that we're going to go through overall, I believe what I'm talking about, like just, okay, well, this isn't working now, or it's not like, oh, this isn't working, it's bad. It's more like, okay, so clearly I'm supposed to shift into another experience. I believe humans are going to begin to flow a lot more as we move forward in time. And this is going to allow us to become more and more free and unlimited. I think the old dark way is control and limitation. I think humans are like, no, we're done with that. We're sick and tired of it. We're shifting into an open, spacious, unlimited way of being.
Take you far away to somewhere.
So here's the weird thing, and could be the prophecy part of this, is then she left and she was gone. And it was like, that's it. Because I've had a lot of visions like this, and this part, it usually means they're departing from the planet. So the reason why I say that is because the amount of experiences, since I was a teenager, whenever I would have this happen in this way, a good friend of mine would pass away. It's very possible that, okay, so it's one of the things that I'm learning is I really think that that experience with that person, I was supposed to learn those lessons, and I'm finally learning them now, for sure. Like, that's like, I was supposed to learn these lessons when I was dealing with her, and that's why I went through that experience with her, the good and the bad. So you suffer until you learn the lesson, then you're like, oh, and then there's no suffering. Then the suffering stops. See, one of the things we say in the healing arts is if you're suffering, it's because there's something that you were supposed to learn. And until you pay attention to it and allow it to express itself so you can learn from it, you're going to continue to suffer until you get the learning. Because the emotional pain is it's like a flag saying, hey, you were supposed to learn something here. Because you haven't learned it, you're going to keep feeling this horrible feeling inside, or you're going to keep getting the same hurts and bad experiences in relationships or whatever. So until you learn this, hey, you're going to feel the pain. So symbolically, her leaving, just poof, disappearing, it could mean instead of there being this division between my two brains, it's like finally we became one and now we're flowing together. And this is what the Bible is talking about when it says atonement. I will tell you, for the last week or so, maybe more, I have been feeling this clarity. Like there's not this ping-ponging going on in my head at all. It's just open, expansive clarity. So the one thing I absolutely realized, like, oh, I finally learned these things, and there's a sense of peace. Even just thinking about this person now, like, there's nothing but good feelings. It's a really good vibe with, even though I haven't talked to this person in many years, but I was very upset for a long time. And now there's just this sense of contentment. So I want to say this to that person if you're listening to this. If you're really ill, dying, sick, have cancer, or anything else, get a hold of me. I can heal you. It's not a problem. And it's okay now. God bless you guys. I love you guys.
I want to escape. I wanna take you far away to somewhere that you've never known. Somewhere that you've never known. Somewhere that you've never known. Take me far away. Take me far